American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. 2016.
Let's go, folks. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Go ahead and click the share button. Let folks know we are here. As you know, Zuckerberg is always trying to keep us down. Clearing my throat. We got a lot to talk about, and I'm hoping we will have a special guest, you guys. I'm hoping we're going to have a special guest. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till he pops in and surprise you because it's a good one. It's a good one, you guys. It's a juicy one. Oh, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Now look, and here's our special guest. She's going to be in just a minute. I'm excited, you guys. Oh, I'm excited. Click the share button. Let everybody know we're live so they can join in on all this fun. We got some good times. Good times tonight. There's my Monkin. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Laser Snake, by the way. If you have not heard it a million times, Laser Snake, Laser Snake. Jen, how's it going? Good to see you. We're just letting folks come on in. Click the share button. There's Sherry. Good to see you. Let folks know we are live, my friends. Of course, there's my Monkin. We want to thank our sponsor, Send Mag. We haven't talked about Send Mag in a long time because the shutdowns. The shutdowns are ruining everything. We hate them. We hate them. Our guest hates them tonight, too. Our guest does not like the shutdowns. And he's going to tell you a lot of good reasons why. A lot of good reasons why. So, Nick, good to see you. Good to see you, folks. Are you a patriot of the USA? Yeah, we are. We are. I do like that. I do like that. Wow, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great to have that again? We need more Trump. We need more Trump. We definitely need more Trump. When I say Trump, Trump, what's the one my button was? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. You are watching the one and only Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk. I am Suzzanne Monk. That's the advertisement. I am Suzzanne Monk. We're 8 minutes away from the nation's capital. We're 15 minutes away from the president's White House. And we're about, 8 or 9 hours away from Georgia, where I met our guest, Isaiah Gates. And I had such a wonderful time watching him speak at the Get Right rally down in Georgia. You know, you guys know I talk about reopen all the time, and I'm passionate about it, and I'm forceful about it. I'm committed to it. And it was great to hear this individual who is also very passionate about America, very passionate about liberty, very passionate about his faith. And I would love to say that he's black, but I think he's not voting for Joe Biden. So I don't know if that's the case. Let me bring on screen Isaiah. Welcome to the show. You look black
Hello.
to me, so I think Joe Biden's probably crazy.
Man, look here. Don't even talk about Joe Biden if I can't use the N word. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, fair enough. Isaiah, thanks for being on the show. And let me see if I can. I might have to put my headphones in to make my feedback not come through your screen. Let me see if I can do that.
Oh no, I turn my headphones down a little. That's okay, because I got the same problem before. People
Okay, I think that's better. Oh, it went away. Come back. It went away. It'll pop back in. I'm sure. There we go. There we go.
Okay, is that
there,
better?
Isaiah's back. That's better. Awesome.
Sorry,
awesome. No, that's all right. It was just an echo, so it makes it easier for everybody to hear. Plus, I got the headphones don't do anything bad for my hat, so it all still works out. Isaiah, we had a great time in Georgia. Would you agree?
Yeah, that was nice because it gave everybody a glimpse, and I don't think it was publicized enough. I'm disappointed about that, but it gave everybody a glimpse of the real America, man. Like they want you to believe America is this social network platform, and it's really not that. We love each other, man. Real Americans love each other, and that's I think every year at the Get Right rally, Lucretia Hughes allows us to actually show that to people. And I really wish that we can get that thing packed out every year, man.
Yeah, I agree. And this was my first year I got to go. I didn't get to go to the year before. But I've known Lucretia for a really long time. She's been up here to DC, to many other things that we've had here. She has been at the White House. She's very connected. She acts humble, but she's very well connected. She has been some very nice places and well deserved because of all the work she has done for our country and in support of our president. But you're absolutely right. It was such a nice opportunity to go back to just being with human beings, talking, hearing people actually talk to you, hugging people, watching facial expressions, just enjoying human company. And we had such a good time. We had a little bit of rain, but just enough to have rainbows. It was amazing. Yes. And then we all kind of, I know we got back in the car and drove back into what I call occupied territory. So, there's a lot of the country shut down. And I think what really moved me about about your speech and about what you were talking about is how much you called people out about their responsibility to be a government of and by and for the people. But you said it in your way, but it was awesome. And you called people out even in the audience as you were going through, just getting people really riled up and letting people know there's a personal responsibility to liberty. So tell people about that so they don't just think I'm the only one who knows about it.
Oh no, you absolutely hit the nail right on the head, because that's what my purpose was in that speech. And I really hope it worked, because they have lulled us to sleep over the past, let's say 50 or 60 years, man. They really have. They've given us everything we could possibly want. We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. And they made us indifferent to being a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
How dare we? Just think about it. I'm getting my blood is on. Just think about it. Like, we just gonna let these people take our rights away? Like, are you serious?
Right.
Like what you like you say you 8-9 hours. What are you coming all the way down here for? Are we really gonna let these people stand by and just, come on, man. Yeah, I wanted to rile people up. I really did, because you gotta understand, my kids are young and I want the best for them. I work hard to provide the best future for them that I can. And I'm not gonna let some idiot with a letter next to his name, who I'm probably smarter than.
Right.
Let's be honest. take my rights away. You know what I'm saying? So no,
Yeah.
not at
Well, and
all.
what do you think about what the the new CDC guidelines that they're talking about for opening schools? They're talking about children wearing masks all day, not sharing crayons, no gym, no shared activities, announcements over the loudspeaker reminding everybody to social distance. And it sounds like a torture chamber. I wouldn't send it. I wouldn't send your kids to that environment. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to do that either.
Now let's see. You said announcements over the loudspeaker, social distancing, no sharing crayons. You
Mm-hmm.
said you're gonna put them in the chokey. Each kid goes in the chokey for 12 minutes a day. We're gonna make them all eat bird seed. No peanut butter involved.
Right.
I mean, come on, this is crazy, man. Like, no, I wasn't aware of that. You want to know why? Because I stopped listening to the CDC a long time ago.
Right.
Particularly, they were changing their stance on whether or not the coronavirus could survive on surfaces. I'm like, okay, because I mean, CDC, I don't want to hear anything y'all got to say anyway. But when they came out with that, I'm like, now, how is it that y'all are not seeing the same thing that I'm seeing? Now, let me be the CDC for 2 weeks and just give y'all a bunch of garbage. Y'all gonna say that guy's crazy. He is nuts.
I agree.
But because they are a government entity,
Mm-hmm.
we supposed to trust them with our lives, and I mean, excuse me while I go a little spiritual, but I am a preacher. That's what I do. Okay. It's just like in the book of Exodus, the people, they looked to Pharaoh, who was a government. Pharaoh is obviously a type of the government. He was the king of the world. They looked to Pharaoh for everything. They provide. Pharaoh provided everything. So when it was time to be free, they were like, well, no, he gives us everything. Why would we want to go away from, it's the same thing, y'all. It's the same thing. If you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, they have lulled us to sleep by giving us stuff. And now we trust them so much and we have so little faith in the real God. Yeah, and they got us right where they want us.
Yeah. And we see it with the unemployment checks. People are, businesses are opening and they're calling their employees back and saying, hey, your job is open. Come back to work. And the employees are telling them they don't want to come back to work because the government is paying them so much extra in unemployment insurance. They're actually making more sitting at home, getting paid by the government. So we see more problems caused by the government getting involved in the first place.
Yeah, and that's again, they got us right where they want us. We are looking to the government to take our cue, and they are willing to take that position. Like, yeah, we'll take even more of your rights away. Well, how we'll put this in place. We'll put this rule right here in place. Oh no, we want to change our stance on this, but we're going to carry on with this rule. And y'all like that, right? Yeah, give us. Yeah, what else do we need to do? And people are gladly grabbing their ankles. And I think I used that phrase on stage when I did my speech.
Yes,
like, yeah, give us more of that rod, Mr. Government. We love it. We love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And stimulus checks apparently must be lube because that seems to be what allows people to continue to do that. So let's talk about this a little bit. As you know, in the beginning, they weren't keeping track of whether or not it was white people or black people that was getting the disease. But somewhere along the way, the narrative became black people are being more affected by it in the inner cities. I am constantly told in Anacostia, my neighborhood in Anacostia has the highest rate of COVID cases in the entire city. We're also the working class neighborhood. We're also probably the neighborhood that gets the least medical care overall. We're working class folks in my neighborhood. That's what it is. That's a part of it. But they don't mention that when they talk about it in the news. So tell me a little bit about what you feel the narrative has been and how they're trying to, control black people with this fear, specifically black people.
Man, that is such a funny thing. I got a video about this on my YouTube channel. I would give you the name, but I can't even YouTube myself. I can't, like, if I type my own name in, I can't find myself. But it's a Negro with knowledge. If you're lucky enough to get jackpot, then there you go. But you can find me on Facebook as well at facebook.com/the subway train, or you can just type in knowledge over slavery. But I talk about this because I watched that narrative progress and I seen it coming a mile away. All they have to do to get chaos is throw the race narrative in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's on a small scale, and they
Mhm.
just keep us at bay, away from each other and fighting. And sometimes it's on a really large scale, like right now, and we really saw each other heads off, and we got to really look out for people's health. But I'm sorry to answer your question. The narrative shifted from just coronavirus, and then black people were saying, "Yeah, black people, you ain't never seen no black people with no coronavirus. Black people don't catch the corona. Are we
I remember
immune?
that.
Blah
Yeah.
blah blah." I just sit back and watch it, like, yeah, okay, now watch this, and sure as water is wet. Weeks later, they were saying black people are more susceptible, and the numbers never actually lined up. If you really look at the numbers, man, we got way more survivors.
Mhm.
It's just not making any sense. You could tell that the sense of fear is really coming from
Well,
the
and it
media.
happened
But
right after you saw the the house parties in Chicago, the street parties in Baltimore. You know, the narrative happened right after you saw the black community not responding to the shutdowns and not living in fear.
yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, they'll make it seem, and it's crazy because this is why I get so frustrated with my people, because you can just see the narrative shift left and right. And how are y'all not paying attention to this? Like, I
Mhm.
just don't get it, man, because I just came from the Get Right rally. What were you thinking about? 200 or 300 people were there?
Yeah.
You know, I ain't sick.
Mm-mm.
Was
No,
because
I'm
too many
healthier
white
than
people
ever.
there, or I mean, I don't understand, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I watched that narrative continue to shift, and now people, black people are running with it. And if they just tell them one thing, it seems like it just their mind just absorb it like a sponge, and it's just they all rationality and objectivism is out the window. It doesn't matter what you tell them after that. It's nuts.
Well, they actually had Michelle Obama in DC. They had Michelle Obama record a message to tell us all to stay in our homes and stay home, save lives. And they sent that out in DC. They pushed that out to everybody's phone. So the mayor had Michelle Obama robocall everybody in the city.
Was that just in DC?
Yeah, in DC, just in
I
DC.
was gonna say, because black people they love, boy. I'm telling you, look, if you want black people to follow anything, get Obama, Michelle Obama, or Beyonce to sing, and it's on
Well, and it worked
locked
for a
in.
little. It worked for a little while, but as the news has reported, and as I can tell you right now, one block over from my house, there's a big block party. People are gathering. People are not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. They're eating greens and barbecue, and it smells really good. And I'm going to go over there as soon as I get done with this podcast. Um, and the cops are watching, but they're not involving themselves in any. They're just kind of being there, and so it's an interesting dynamic here in the city where we're not really being arrested, we're not being enforced upon, and people, at least in my neighborhood, are kind of fed up with staying indoors. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Isaiah, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Minneapolis. And what I want to talk about most is not the case itself, because there's a lot of stuff that's pretty obvious that's really bad about the case that has created a lot of outrage. But I want to talk about the riots and how quickly they happen, because my concern, this is a Ferguson type situation. This is there's a lot of situations where we see the left take immediate opportunity when one of these situations gets into the media, and they turn it into this aggressive racial divide with violence and rioting, and we see it again. Do you think that this case has been put to the forefront of media because the Democrats are losing the shutdown narrative?
Um, the way you term that question makes me rethink my answer, just because you tied it specifically to the shutdown narrative. I'm not so sure that's what it is. I seen it coming a mile away. I already knew this whole racial thing was gonna come up again. Like, anybody who has escaped the Matrix, it's like the Truman Show. I don't know if you ever seen the Truman Show, but that one scene when he's looking out the window, like, man, I seen that bike ride past my house a bunch of times today. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm seeing a pattern, and then you start to wake up. And so yeah, I mean, specifically last election, it was Trump against Hillary. Um, I think up until the actual race itself, Hillary was leading in the polls. Am I right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
It was looking like they were still building Trump to be this idiot, you know. And so everybody, they were making it seem like Hillary was leading the polls, but now we know the polls, you know, they put whatever numbers they want out there. But my point is, like, she was supposedly leading in the polls, but the Alton Sterling thing still happened. The guy in Baton Rouge who was killed on the ground for selling while he was selling CDs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the same exact day that Hillary was announced to be exonerated because, you know, she was under investigation, that same day that happened.
Yeah.
And I noticed it then. I'm like, huh, you know, and I've just been watching it ever since. It's like, I've been noticing this pattern. And I actually, before this podcast, was going to look up some things because I want to know when the Trayvon Martin situation happened. I think that was 2011, and that would have been like election time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then they always do this around election time. So I don't think it has anything to do with the stimulus narrative.
Sure.
Because they're still going to lose in a landslide. I think people are waking up, but there's a lot of people who aren't, and it's a cycle. It's what I don't want to say the left anymore. I don't want to term it to be just one side, because the deep state is comprised of both sides.
Agreed.
It's not just the left. And I think we need to stop saying that because we make ourselves look ignorant when we try to blame it on just Democrats. No, it's judges, it's senators, it's a machine.
Yeah.
You know, it's what it is.
It was you know, somebody had posted to me about Keith Ellison being involved in the case against the cops, and I was like, why is what does Keith Ellison have to do with it? Well, he's the attorney general of the state of Minnesota. This is in Ilhan Omar's district. You know, it's interesting that it's the same players, but you're absolutely right that the deep state has players on both sides, and we're seeing that with a lot of the declassification, the information that's coming out about what Obama knew about the Spygate, about Pizzagate, about all of that. You know, that's been this undercurrent that we're finding out about all the while. The shutdowns are going on, the Ahmaud Arbery case, this case with George Ford. So, you know, through all this other stuff that everybody's distracted with, not to mention the toilet paper shortage, you know, this information continued to come out, including Joe Biden's involvement with China in Ukraine and his involvement in Ukraine. Just this week, I believe they're discussing that charges were actually filed against him in the Ukraine case. So it's getting thicker and thicker. Do you think that all that's going to come out? Do you think people are ever going to understand how deep the deep state is? And do you think President Trump will be able to get reelected and make a real difference in the next 4 years to give us back our country?
I'm going to answer that question when you answer this question real quick. How real can I be on this show? Like, how real can I actually be?
Be as real as you want. Say what you want. And any of my... that's why we do a later night show, because any of my elderly people who might not like cussing usually don't listen this late. So cuss away.
Yeah, I don't do no cussing.
And tell the truth. Tell the absolute truth.
I ain't gonna do no cussing, but I'm gonna keep it so 100 that
okay.
I mean,
do it.
I ain't gonna lie, Suzzanne. I'm worried to even talk about this, but I'm gonna answer the question. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think people ever will see the depths of what we talking about. Okay, now let me get just a little bit deep, and I'm gonna say something real. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Okay.
Now the Bible says, in the end times, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So I'm almost done. If you reject the gospel of Jesus Christ, you're gonna believe a lie, whether that's about the deep state, whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna lay that foundation. Okay, you're gonna believe a lie in the end. Mm-hmm. But more specifically, I don't think there's any amount of evidence you can put in front of any of these idiots. And when I say idiots, you know the type of people I'm talking about. They're like, there's nothing that their side could do wrong. They're gonna defend Obama to death. They're gonna, defend Bernie Sanders and socialism. They're gonna try to tell you why. So
they do the same.
Yes,
George Bush.
They're gonna try to tell you why 70% tax is good. Mm. They kids probably been sniffing condoms. They support AOC. Those type of people.
Yeah.
And there y'all know those type of people on the white side of things. And on the black side of things, we have the same type of people, may not follow AOC so much, but they are very liberal, and it's just like idiotic liberalism, and it goes against everything that they claim to be about.
Right.
You know, like these people are totally confused. I do not think you can penetrate their brains. I think it's strong delusion, which is prophesied in the Bible. Okay, we're in the end times. Whether you believe in Jesus Christ, it doesn't matter to you. I'm going to spread this message wherever I go. We're living in the end times.
Do it.
We're living in the end times, and the Bible says in the end times, the people who reject the truth will believe a lie. Okay, and these people are believing a lie. You cannot, I've shown people these text messages between Strzok and Page. I've shown people the Fusion GPS paper trail that leads straight to Hillary Clinton. Is talks about how she gave Russia 20% of our uranium. The whole bit. I've given these people green grass, Suzzanne. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand.
They will still tell me. They will tell me I have blue grass. It's not green, Isaiah. So no, I do not think you can get through to these people. Now, if that's understood, I'll say my last part to the answer of your question, and then I'll throw it back to you.
Great.
I think the only way to stop this is civil war. Okay? I'm not a violent person at all. But it's like when the pilot of a plane is about to crash, let's say into the Twin Towers.
Sure.
How close? I mean, you love the guy. You don't want to kill him. But he's about to kill you and everybody on this plane, possibly people in that tower.
Right.
Is it worth him still? Is his life worth the rest of ours? So my point is, we got these people who are leading us into socialism. Let's face it. Look at Venezuela. Look at Cuba. All these other places. They trying to rationalize 70% tax and no guns and little girls use the same bathroom as men with wigs and all these other things. And we're just gonna let that carry on. I got kids, man. No. So the only way is I don't really see any other method for peace on the horizon. You see the same cycle has always been going. We just had the situation in Minneapolis. And so I think the only way to stop them is civil war. Now, how that goes, I don't know. When I've been talking to people, I don't really know. I'm not a violent person at all, but I do love America, and I know that history does repeat itself. It is what it is at this point. We can't talk to them anymore. Have you not realized this? People who may be listening, have you not realized that no matter what you say and show to these people, they are insane, and there's no getting through to them. So what's the next step? We continue to let them vote. What's the next step?
Well, and what I'm seeing, what's interesting is that now that we're faced with these shutdowns, with not, having churches closed, having the government tell us whether or not we can go to church, having the government tell us which businesses we're allowed to shop at and which businesses we're not, having the government tell us if we can go to the park, if we should walk or sit on the beach, if we're allowed to sit, or if we have to keep walking. I mean, the rules are ridiculous. They've let prisoners out of prison while they're locking people up for opening their business, for giving haircuts, for being outside with their kids at a playground. This is the kind of insanity that we're at, and we see some people fighting back. We see in Michigan, for example, we see the protests there, and they're in a real battle. They have shown up many times at the Capitol. They've shown up armed. There was a whole hubbubaloo as to whether or not people should be showing up armed at the Capitol. But I know personally that the reason that happened is the day before, 3 of our patriots had shown up at the Capitol to film the proceedings, and they were dragged forcibly out of the Capitol by Capitol Police. The reason that they stormed back at the Capitol armed is because they were literally physically being tyranted out of the building previously.
Right.
So, I feel like what we're in right now in some places is a civil war. But as you know, down in Georgia, the restaurants are half open. It's kind of almost normal living. What do you think is going to happen when we have the country divided between states that are still shut down and states that are open and are kind of, living in that oblivion of being semi-free?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think is gonna happen. I mean, I just explained what I think should, probably should happen.
Is there a way
But
to wake up the states that are half open? Is there a way
no, and see that's
people
I don't see it, Suzzanne. I don't see it. I've tried to talk to these people myself.
Mhm.
You understand?
Mhm.
Because it's one thing for us to talk about how we know what's going on, but we need numbers.
Yeah.
Because the government is there. They are tyrants at this point, clearly. And they are infringing upon our rights. I mean, just prime example, it says that the government shall make no law prohibiting blah blah blah, basically saying that we can't assemble. Yes, we can. We're Americans. We can do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can do that. We're Americans. The Constitution gives us that right, and they're circumventing the Constitution and have been for a long time. It's not like this just started happening with the shutdown. We have endured decades.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yeah.
We've endured decades, and now we like little North Korea. I mean, they kind of let us do our own thing a little bit.
Mhm.
Like, and I like what you say. Half open is not open. I like what you say because you're infringing on my rights. It's one thing if I don't want to leave my house, but it's another thing if the government tell me I can't. Like, I'm gonna step outside just because they said I can't. Because I'm an American. And so no, I don't know. I don't know what I think will happen, but to what degree do we let it carry on? That's what I'm saying, because people are afraid. I'm talking to people on the streets. I had this one girl, and Suzzanne, I don't believe it at all. And I called her on it too. She told me 15 people died from the COVID-19. I said, I want to hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you know 15 people that you personally know that died, not caught it,
right.
You say you lost 15 people. Let me hear the names.
Right.
So my point is, these people are so brainwashed, like they really think they're affected by this stuff.
Yeah.
There's no getting through to them. So I don't really see a avenue for. I don't want to sound like I'm calling for like people to go burn nothing or
obviously
go into a raid. That's not what I'm getting at.
Drastic and different. We obviously need to do more than what we're doing right now.
Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what we need to do, but obviously they are in increments. They're just taking our rights away more and more. It got to the point where if you really look at what was about to happen if Trump hadn't won, what do you think America would actually be at this point if Trump hadn't won? And they were already trying to take ours away. And now he has won, but they still infringing on us. But we got some resistance because of the administration and stuff. But this right here it's like I said, it's little Venezuela, it's little North Korea. It's kind of socialism, It really is.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this before you go. And I know you said we shouldn't talk about Joe Biden, but I gotta talk about Joe Biden.
I was just kidding about that. I'm just saying I might say the N-word.
I have to ask because Joe Biden has said some racist things in the past. This is the first racist thing he said, but it certainly it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough, and yet the Democrats are out there still trying to push, basically agreeing with Joe Biden that if you're not voting for Joe Biden, somehow you're not black. Now, do you think that's going to fly with black people? Because I just think that the Democrats are out of touch. If that's the message they're sending, if that's the Joe Biden campaign message, I just think they're crazy. I think black folks are just going to stay home. If they don't vote Trump, they're going to stay home because it sounds stupid to everybody.
I'm sounding a little bit contradicting when I say this, based on what I was saying about how people are such idiots and stuff. Mm-hmm. One thing I will say about black people, they ain't finna let no white man tell them what to do. I'm telling you now that I don't think that helped Joe Biden at all. I really don't. I do think there's a sect of black people, and now trust me, any of my black people that's watching, white people that's watching, I'm not trying to say by no means black people are dumb.
Right.
There is a sect of idiots though.
Yeah.
And I call them out. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just certain things. If you stand for it, you are not thinking straight.
Right.
And especially
And
as a
white
black
folks
man.
too. Yeah, I do.
But
And white folks too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying there is a sect of them that are idiots. But no, all by and large, black folks ain't finna let no white man tell them nothing like that. They'll be like, okay, I vote. I could kind of see black people saying, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. Because prime example, I don't know if you familiar with Charlemagne the Guy. He's the guy who interviewed Joe Biden when he made the "You're not black" comment.
Yeah.
And he and P. Diddy and so many other names are leading the charge to, I guess, hold the black vote hostage, quote unquote.
Right. What does that mean?
And listen, it's so idiotic, but it's really gonna expose the hypocrisy of black politics, especially in the black church. Because make no mistake, my beef, I do have a beef with Americans who sit back and let our rights be taken away. But as the church is like the backbone, at least we should be. And so I always challenge the church first. I always do. And this hold the black vote hostage campaign is really gonna expose the hypocrisy in black politics and the black church. Because if you really sit down, let's take all the emotion out. Let's take Trump's face out of it.
Right.
What do you believe as a black man or woman in this country is the right thing to do? Start with taxation. You want to give somebody 40 cents of every dollar you make? No, of course not. Okay, no. You're not agreeing on that then. Okay, now let's go with guns. You live in what you say to be a really bad neighborhood. Well, give me your guns. I'm the government, and call me if somebody ever breaks in your house or tries to rape your wife or whatever.
We don't even register our guns in this neighborhood. We're even more, freedom loving than most because we don't even want the government to know we have them.
Exactly. So then, okay, you don't check that box either. Let's see. Now, this tall, big, burly, 6'6" dude with a wig on. Let him use the bathroom with your daughter. You good with that? Of course not. So you can't do it with your emotions and the deep state or the left or whatever you want to call it. The system, I don't know, has done such a good job at keeping black people full of their emotions. And so now, instead of them just conceding, because it's Trump, instead of them just conceding that we see conservative governance is the best for our success, because bottom line it is. I mean, if you don't believe that, you can talk to me at any time. We can go back and forth on what the black community needs. If you think I'm so stupid because I'm a Trump supporter or whatever, but instead of them conceding that conservative governance is the best thing for us, well, we can't say that leftist governance is the best for us because that's just stupid.
Right.
So we'll just stand here, and that's cowardly. Instead of just admitting that you were wrong, nobody is telling you to put on a MAGA hat.
Right.
Because honestly, I'd rather you just not vote for a Democrat. I don't care if you vote for a libertarian. I am strongly against Democrats. I make no bones about that. Right. And I'm only a Republican because I'm a conservative. So why don't you just concede the fact that things have been good? If you look at the numbers, get your emotions out of things, really stop watching TV and start reading more, and maybe you can understand things better. But no, I don't think this is gonna go well for Joe Biden. But it will expose the hypocrisy of those who do.
Yeah. Especially when you see President Trump being the loudest voice right now for reopening the economy, getting our jobs back, getting people back to work. Just like I think it doesn't matter what color you are, those kitchen table issues, keeping money in your pocket, being able to feed your family, keeping a roof over your head, that's going to move more votes than anything. So I think we're going to see a lot of votes come.
Well, if I could add something to that, and I hate to go back to such a negative topic again, but if you can see, we know that the COVID-19 has nothing to do with health, but it seems to be about manipulating election, as is this thing in Minnesota as well. It's all about manipulating election. And so if you can build a case of people not getting together at the ballot box and say, well, we'll vote at home, those same people that weren't gonna vote, now, they may have been indifferent to it, but now they got a ballot in their their mailbox. So hey, give me that out here. Let me check a box real quick and send it back in. They are trying to level the playing field with that alone, because even people who don't know much about the election, they're gonna not vote Trump or they're gonna not vote whatever because they have the opportunity now. They don't have to leave their homes. They can just get up, on the way to the kitchen, grab the little stupid thing and mail it tomorrow, I can see that being the whole basis of the COVID-19 scare, and maybe that'll manipulate the election. But you mentioned the kitchen table issues. These people are at the kitchen table are talking about things, emotional things about what's going on in Minnesota. They ain't talking about the taxes. They ain't talking about the corporate tax rate. They ain't talking about keeping more of their money. They're not seeing all of that stuff. They voting with their emotions. They going with their emotions, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all we can do, I think all we can do is continue to try to talk to people and engage people as we can, and keep praying. And I know as a pastor, you probably do a lot of that. Do you find, this is my last question for you, do you find that since all of this chaos this year, are you praying more? Are you praying more with family? How has your spiritual practice changed in the era of the shutdowns?
My spiritual practice ain't changed at all, because if you really know and believe the Bible, this is all playing out according to what it says. So nobody on our side is surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And if you catch a Christian who is, and it's all hysterical and, oh my goodness, COVID-19, they probably ain't really in tune. I'm just gonna throw that out there, and I mean that. Because what we believe does not promote fear. It promotes understanding. It promotes being sound in faith and sound in mind. Like, no, we already seen this coming, and no, and also about the whole praying thing. I ain't against praying. I think men ought to pray and not faint. Ought to always pray and not faint. But if you just praying, you a coward right now, man.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Faith without works is dead. You still on your knees, man?
Yeah.
You still on your knees?
Praise the Lord.
Shoot.
That's the ammunition, if you know what I'm saying. So
look here, man. Look, folks still praying. Y'all really gonna get better? Come on, man. It's not. It's not. They sold you a bill of goods if you're looking for peace or things to get better or children to stop starving or governments to stop being tyrannical or people to be able to pay bills all the time. Or if you looking for this la land garbage, really? Come on, man. Wake up, man. Get out of here. Get off your knees, man. Get off your knees. I'm not saying don't pray. I'm saying faith without works is dead. So you look like an idiot to me.
Faith without works is 100%.
Time for some action, man.
100% dead. And 100. I agree with you 100%. And I think that's a great message to leave on. Isaiah, really good to have you, man. I appreciate you popping in on the show. And I look forward to please, everybody, when he says go, watch his videos at tell everybody where your videos are again, because Isaiah, this is just light, Isaiah. This is just like a little tasting, like you're at Costco and you get that little sliver of cheesecake. But if you want to bring home the whole juicy deliciousness, you got to go watch his videos because it's great stuff. So tell folks again where they can find your stuff.
The Facebook page is Knowledge Over Slavery. A lot of people may know me as a Negro with knowledge, but I felt like the white folks was getting scared to share my stuff because it said Negro and they think it sound too much like nigga. So I was like, okay, Knowledge Slavery now. It's Knowledge Over Slavery, or you could type in facebook.com/the subway train, because I model myself to be the modern Underground Railroad. And so I want my black people to have free thought. And not just black people. I want America to see what's really going on in the country, because I love America, man. I love America. I'm from the hood. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, Southwest Atlanta, and then I met my wife on the west side of Chicago. So all I know is the hood, but my hood is in America.
Right.
I mean, I don't live in the hood no more. I live rural. Like, I got my kids out of the hood, but my whole what I know, it's the hood, my culture. And it's in America. I love America. So check me out. It's Knowledge Over Slavery on Facebook. And if you can find it on YouTube, because I can't, like I said, even typing it in, a Negro with knowledge. Negro with knowledge on YouTube. And so yeah, I would love to have y'all like say share it, do whatever. But I love America and I preach Jesus. So there it is.
There it is. There it is. It's a great and beautiful country. So I love it with you. And it was good spending time with you. And I look forward to doing that again. And it's been really fun having you here on the show and sharing you with all my listeners. So thank you for popping in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for being about what you said at the rally too. So
I always say, don't be about it, do about it. So I'm gonna keep doing about it. That's what I'm gonna do. So,
all right.
Awesome. Good to talk to you, Isaiah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good stuff. Did I tell you that was going to be good stuff? I told you that was going to be good stuff. I'm so excited. So let's talk a little bit about the other things we have on the topic list before we tune out here. And I do, as I was talking to Isaiah, I did mention there is a block party just a little ways away from me. I can't tell you where. Nobody knows. I don't want the mayor watching my show and finding out. Send in more minions. But apparently folks are having a good time. The cops are not arresting anybody. They're not taking anybody away. They are present, though. There are police present so that nothing gets out of hand. But nothing is getting out of hand. There's out of hand barbecue. It smells delicious. It smells delicious over there. There's a big pan of delicious greens. I think there was corn. There's probably mac and cheese somewhere. Where there's greens, there's always mac and cheese. Fat girls know. Fat girls know. So I wanted to talk a little bit about two things that we're going to have coming up with Reopen America, and that we're going to be focusing on, and two grave concerns that I have. The first one is the CDC. I mentioned it with Isaiah, the CDC guidelines coming down for schools. These are guidelines, as everyone says. They are recommendations. They are not requirements. But as we know, so are everything else. So are all of these shutdown ordinances. All of the things that we are seeing and we're being oppressed by right now actually come from the an interpretation of CDC guidelines. So I'm very concerned that we will see similar problems with the school system, with schools opening up, different states having, of course, different regulations, different levels of restriction. But the CDC guidelines are horrible. They involve regular temperature checks, daily temperature checks, kids being tested, kids not being allowed to share crayons or share laptops or share toys, no group activities, so no group sports, no gym class, nothing where kids are going to be closer than 6 feet from each other, plexiglass in between kids, in between things, where people cannot be socially distant. So if you have a table and plexiglass with kids on either side of the table, masks all day long, masks for kids, and children being in only small groups, only being with the same teacher all the time. The teachers unions are already even asking for more than that. They're asking for contact tracing of the kids. They're asking for all of these additional elements. And so we already see the teachers union pushing back on the other side. We at Reopen America, as always, on every single issue, we push back against the shutdowns, against these unconstitutional orders, against this torture that we're putting our society through. So we are, of course, going to be putting out a call to action, but I'm letting you guys know ahead of time what that call to action is going to be, because you are going to we need everybody. Everybody. I'm talking so much. I get excited. I talk a lot. I'm like, your throat needs to clear. I need all the parents to reach out to the school board, to their superintendent, to their principal, find out what guidelines are going to be implemented, and make sure that none of these CDC guidelines are implemented. Say no to all of them. We have to. I know how many more custodial staff. Yep, they're going to hire more staff, more teachers. They want to put kids 1 seat apart on the bus and only one kid to a seat. Like, you have to do 3 times the busing. All of it is insane. All of it is literally insane. None of it is physically possible. Nick, you're absolutely right. I'm putting Nick's comment up so everybody can see it. You're absolutely right. It's insanity. And worse, it is going to force our children to live in a constant spirit of fear, in a constant state of fear. And this constant idea, telling young children, growing children every single day that other children are going to make them sick. You're going to make other children sick. And if you get sick, grandma and grandpa are going to die, is horrible. It's unacceptable. It's torture. It's child abuse. We have to make sure that we push back on these guidelines. So we're going to be putting out a big call to action. We're going to be writing letters. We're going to make phone calls. We are going to, in every state, in every school district, we're going to need to push back. I'm sorry I keep having work for everyone to do. I'm sorry that each and every time we have one of these conversations, it comes to, hey, I got more work for you to do. Okay, I'm going to need you to call your mayor. I'm going to need you to call your governor. I'm going to need you to call your sheriff. I'm going to need you to talk to write a letter to your district attorney. I'm going to need you to write the president. I'm going to need you to write your county board. I'm going to need you to write your schools. I'm going to need you to write your school board. I'm going to need you to write your superintendents and call them. Yeah, I'm sorry this is so much work. It is. It's a lot of work to fight what they're doing. If you look what the deep state, what the globalists, what the coup is doing, to take Isaiah's point, it is people on both sides of the aisle, to take what they're doing, the globalist agenda, and see what they're trying to do to our society, the layers. It's very clever. It's very well thought out. It's very complex. And each layer, we have to fight back. Each layer of this process, the music events, our concerts, our sporting events, our conferences, our weddings, our gatherings, our church events, and church services. That's what I'm looking for. All of this, step by step, we have to take it back. And as we are taking it back, they are rolling out more and more things. Ralph Northam just Tuesday, just yesterday, issued his mask ordinance, which goes into effect Friday. And worst of all, Ralph Northam isn't even enforcing it himself. He's not actually saying, if you don't wear the mask, we're going to give you a ticket, so that he can't get sued. He's making businesses enforce it. He is saying that as a business, if you let someone come into your store without a mask, you can lose your business license. That's Ralph Northam. That's the governor of Virginia. So we see problems across the country with these governors rolling out more stuff, rolling out, even in their phases. Somehow the phases involve more testing. They involve future phases involve contact tracing. They involve potential vaccines. The phases are crazy, you guys. The phases are crazy. It's crazy what they're trying to roll out over time. And actually, many of the aspects of the phases makes things worse. Not to mention, operating your business at 30% capacity, 40, 50% capacity is slow death to these businesses. These businesses will not survive. Ultimately, they will close, and there will be long-term job loss. Long-term job loss. And we're going to see people fighting for a lot of people fighting for a small number of jobs. We talk about the Great Depression. People say that's overblown. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. It really depends on how fast we can get reopened, how much of the country we can get reopened, how quickly we can save some of these businesses and get them back to making money. That's why I've been doing this from the absolute very beginning. Because since before we started shutting down, I knew that we needed to prevent what was coming through social media, what I was hearing, which is hashtag cancel everything, hashtag shut down everything. That's what the shutdowners were saying. That's what they were saying before, back in February. So we've been fighting for it a long time. Now, the other thing I'm going to have to ask you to do, and the other thing we're fighting for really hard, is Yeah, Jill, I'm gonna put this up because this is real. I still haven't been able to wear my new Easter dress to church, and it's nearly June. Yeah, I know. I know. Who thought it was gonna be this long? They said 14 days. They said flatten the curve. We've done all those things. Still shut down. Still shut down. Still can't go to church. President Trump has put out his statement that churches are essential. He has put out an order that churches are essential. The Democrat governors continue to balk. Some of the rhinos, the deep state governors, as you will, continue to balk on that order. So we continue to fight. Right now, we see a fight for our ability to celebrate liberty itself. So here in Washington, D.C., as we see across the country, actually, states and counties, townships are canceling their 4th of July fireworks, their 4th of July festivities. President Trump is in a battle with the mayor of D.C., and he wants to hold the 4th of July ceremonies. So he is, I'm sorry. I love when we have a troll. Let's just bring the troll on for just a quick second, you guys. We got 1 second for troll. Faithful 21, my love. What Trump said was a hoax was the media hype and scare. And that has been a hoax the whole time. Anywhere from using fake videos of Italy to pretend that they're New York hospitals, inflating numbers, having to actually adjust numbers, misrepresenting the cases and information, misrepresenting pictures on beaches, saying people have all. In fact, my dear friend Genevieve Peters is actually being told by the fake media says she has COVID. Why? Because she made a video at and Trader Joe's saying she doesn't want to use a mask. Fact. So, that's the situation. That's the situation we have. What the hoax is all of the media we're seeing. Is the virus real? Is the virus happening? Is the virus? Yeah, a virus is happening. But the need to shut down, hoax. The fact that shutting down does anything, hoax. The fact that you need to wear a mask, hoax. All of these things, hoax. Fact. Just a fact. There's nothing you can do about that. There is nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, here's the reality of the situation. President Trump is in a battle with the mayor of D.C. The mayor of D.C. does not want the president to celebrate the 4th of July here in D.C. as we have every single year before. The president and the Interior Department intend to do that. They intend to hold the fireworks. I intend to be at the fireworks. I am inviting all of America to come and join me at the fireworks. I have already started a Facebook group about the fireworks in 4th of July fireworks 2020 in DC. We are sharing. There's a great place to meet up with other folks who are coming, to carpool, to the hotels are open, you guys. There's plenty of hotels. We should be having more restaurant seating by then, but we do have takeout restaurants all over the city. So rain, shine, open or shut, come be in DC. And we're going to be writing the president. We're going to be emailing the president over the next several weeks and letting him know we're coming. And letting him know we're coming so he has that strength, he has that support, he has that impetus to go ahead and throw the fireworks. If we can't keep fireworks in DC because the globalists think we need to stay in our homes, the tyrants think we need to stay in our homes, we got problems. And not on my watch. So, email the president. Let him know you want him to have the fireworks. If you are anywhere in the area, come to DC for 4th of July. I'm inviting you all. We're going to have a great time on the National Mall. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a party of patriots. It's going to be a party of people who aren't afraid to live life, who literally aren't afraid to live life and to celebrate their freedom. It is going to probably be the most deep celebration of freedom, real celebration of freedom we've had on the National Mall for the 4th of July in a long time, because the people who are out there believe in freedom more than anything, because they're willing to go against the crazies, against the shutdowners, against the Karens of the world. And the Karen mayors, as I call Muriel Karen Bowser. So be here. Be here. And we'll be talking more about that on Reopen America. I want to thank Isaiah for being on the show. We had a great time. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I'm going to go see how the neighborhood block party is going right here in my little neighborhood in Anacostia, because freedom doesn't listen to shutdowners. Freedom doesn't stay in its house. Freedom eats delicious barbecue. And that's what this free girl is going to go start doing right now. Until next time, you guys, this is Suzzanne Monk. Jumping out.